What if I told you that there are lines of lyrics inside your songs, and actually any song that you listen to, that listeners will naturally pay more attention to? And as songwriters, if we know what these lines of lyrics are and how to use them, we can drastically improve the quality of our lyric writing, even in the next 10 minutes. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a lyric writing concept that is truly transformative. And the best news about it is that once you've learned what it is and how to use it, it makes writing great lyrics so much easier. We'll start by looking at some lyrics straight away so that you can immediately see the power and impact of this one concept. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to take you through 2 exercises to help you put the concept into practice straight away so that you can start writing better lyrics right now. I'm going to show you the lyrics to the same section side by side here with one key difference. And all I want you to do as you're reading through the 2 different versions is check in with yourself and just ask yourself, which one of these do I connect with more emotionally, more strongly? Which one am I more invested in? Here we go. You asked to walk me home, but I had to carry you. And you pushed me in past the porch light buzzing blue. You asked to walk me home, but I had to carry you. And you pushed me in, and now my feet can't touch the bottom of you. This is actually the first verse to a Phoebe Bridgers song, Moon Song. It's a beautiful song and a beautiful lyric. And what I've done is I've gone in and tinkered with the last line a little bit. I've still kept it relatively evocative. It's something that any songwriter might actually put on the page. But when we compare it to the Phoebe Bridgers lyric, we can see that she totally understands this concept. And the concept is called power positions. So what is a power position? A power position is a line of lyric that, because of its place inside the structure of a section, naturally draws more of the attention of a listener. Natural power positions are always the first line and, importantly here, the last line. The last line of any section, whether it's a verse, a pre-chorus, or a chorus, or any other type of section, has a very specific role to play, a very specific spotlight. And what that spotlight is it contains the most emotional weight. It's a very emotional spotlight. A listener experiences the last line of any section as your concluding remark. It's the line that feels like it tells us the purpose or the reason why we've just heard everything else in the section. The cool thing about last line power positions is that spotlight exists whether we want it to or not. So whatever we put in that line is going to feel like it's more emotional. But our jobs as songwriters, armed with this information, is to actually put an idea or a line into that spotlight that truly deserves that level of illumination. So in this Phoebe Bridgers song, she has put the line, and now my feet can't touch the bottom of you. That is an absolutely beautiful line in and of itself. And that is why it's in the power position. Imagine if she had tried to start the section with that line. It would be an interesting line, but it would not have the same emotional impact that we feel because she has saved it for that big, powerful spotlight at the end of the section. Let's look at another example of power positions in action inside the incredibly beautiful song River by Joni Mitchell. As I'm showing you this example, I'm actually going to show you my alternative version first, where I've tinkered with that last line, and then I'm going to show you what Joni Mitchell actually does so you can really feel the impact of when a songwriter who understands power positions targets that power position with an incredibly powerful line containing emotional weight. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I never get tired of the glittering cheer. It's coming on Christmas. They're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Hopefully, you can really feel the difference between these two sections. Now, it's not that I've deliberately tried to write some terrible lyric there. What I've done is I've actually continued the pattern that she set up. So the pattern she set up is kind of painting the picture of a winter Christmas landscape. So what I've done is kind of continued the thought and just said, I never get tired of it, which implies, look how lovely and beautiful it is. But that is not what Joni Mitchell does in the actual song. The thought that she puts in her power position is one of wishing that she could escape from it all. So there's an element of surprise in that line because the first lines sound like a lovely Christmas winter landscape, but the actual emotional thought or feeling that she's trying to express is one of wishing that she could escape all of that. So placing that line in the last line power position amplifies the emotional impact of that emotional statement. Again, remember, the spotlight is there, whether we want it to be or not. So in my version of the song, there's still a spotlight on the line that I wrote. It still feels like that is the point of the section, that everything was culminating to this emotional idea that I never get tired of it. And the spotlight will actually amplify the emotion of that line. So the spotlight is there, but a songwriter like Joni Mitchell knows how to use the spotlight to make sure that you're putting a line that really deserves the spotlight. Let's look at one more example now in a lyric that I mocked up for the purposes of demonstrating this to you. So one of the reasons this is helpful is because we're going to start transitioning from merely observing it in action in great songs that are already great songs and great lyrics and starting to transform the concept into something usable that we can put into action in our own lyric writing right now. So here is a quick 4-line section. Tulips are braided into her hair in the fading light of the day. She's smiling wide on the outside, barbecue smoke rising up in the air. So again, it's relatively evocative. There's a scene, there's imagery, there's probably a little movie in your mind. You might also be curious about this girl who has tulips braided into her hair. But let's now activate this concept of power positions and really think about that last line as a line that we can fill with some kind of emotional detail that is going to draw a listener into the story, into the world of the character, and really make them more emotionally connected to what's going on here. Tulips are braided into her hair in the fading light of the day. She's smiling wide on the outside. If anyone knew, would they care? So here we have a question, and the question raises a question, right? In the ear of a listener, we now lean forward as listeners and go, oh, if anyone knew what, there's something going on here. So we've connected this idea of this kind of nice scene. There's tulips in her hair. There's the fading light. She's smiling on the outside, but there's something else going on. So when we use that power position to introduce material like that, suddenly it's not just a scene of barbecue and tulips and the nice sunset. Something emotional is going on. And as listeners, we're drawn in to the story. At the end of the video, I might also work that lyric into a melody, which I haven't done yet, but I also want to demonstrate that it's not just words on the page, that we can really set this to a melody and bring it to life as a song. So you'll have to stick around to the end of the video to see that one in action. One quick note here is that I've created a free PDF that you can download that is a revision checklist. So the revision checklist includes power positions, but also so much more. So it's a revision checklist covering lyrics, chords, melody, and song form that you can work through to really take a song draft and really turn it into something excellent. So if you want that revision checklist, click the link in the notes and you can download that for free right now. So let's talk now about 2 practical ways that we can take this knowledge that we now have about power positions and really start to turn it into great lyrics and great lyric writing and transform the quality of our lyrics straight away. The first way that we can put this knowledge into action straight away is simply in the process of revision. So we write a song, we write our sections, and then we bring out the revision tool of power positions, and we look at a section through the lens of power positions and ask ourselves, firstly, is there already a line inside the section that actually deserves to be in the last line power position? So let me tell you a quick story about this, the time that I learnt this lesson so profoundly that it stayed with me for the rest of my life. So 20 years ago, when I was a student at the Berklee College of Music, I went to a song feedback circle where one of the songwriting professors was there giving feedback very generously. And I played this song for him, the song Last Call. And the final verse of this song initially was this: you're sitting inside an empty room, an empty bottle lying on the floor. You're starting to see it's the whiskey drinking you, not you drinking it anymore. When feedback rolled around, this teacher said to me, you know, that line, the whiskey is drinking you, that's a good line. And I thought, I know. I was so excited about it. And then he asked me a follow-up question, which was, why isn't it in the power position? And I said, what's a power position? And he explained to me, power positions are lines that draw natural attention from a listener because they are either the first line or the last line. And a line like that deserves to be in the last line power position. So we reworked the section together and it ended up like this. You're sitting inside an empty room, an empty bottle lying there too. You're seeing now it's not you drinking, but the whiskey that's drinking you. I hope that you can feel how that one small revision makes about 500% worth of difference to that section. It puts the line of most emotional weight and interest into the spotlight. The second practical way that we can implement the knowledge of power positions straight away is through a process called reverse engineering. Once we understand the concept of power positions, which we now all do, we can start to identify certain lines of lyric that we write or collect, that we're just writing in a notebook, that don't have a specific home yet in a song. We can now identify whether that line might actually be the last line to a section instead of, for example, the first line to a section. For example, let's say I have written or collected from the outside world a line like this. This body of mine has an end. So this is pretty typical. This is a line that I might just write down and it feels like it resonates, it connects emotionally. It's something that I could spin into a whole song, but I don't know whether this idea is in the chorus or if it's something else. But one thing I know for sure, because I understand the concept of power positions, which you do too now, is that this line is going to be better served as an end line power position rather than the opening line of a song. If I were to put that line as the first line, it simply wouldn't mean anything emotional. It might mean something cognitive, it's understandable, it's intelligible, but it's not going to be emotional. So the way to do this in a practical sense is simply in a note doc or however you write your lyrics. Rather than writing this line at the top of the page, write it at the bottom of the page and then reverse engineer the section. So the question now becomes not what comes next, but instead what comes before. So in having a quick think about a line like this, my instinct is to do something like, stack the lines before it with imagery that is contrasting. Very much like the Joni Mitchell song, we could approach it in a way where that last line actually pivots to something else. So what I might do is look for imagery that implies things that last forever, so that when I get to that power position, it's really going to feel like it's introducing an emotional idea that is unexpected. So here is my attempt at this, and I fully encourage you to try the same. And if you're brave enough to write a couple of lines ending with this power position, feel free to post them in the comments. The stars will always burn holes in the night. Forests will fall and grow again. The moon will always tug on the tides, but this body of mine has an end. Power positions is such a powerful concept in lyric writing, and it's one of those concepts that if we understand how much more impact those lines have, what it means is that we should be spending a disproportionate amount of our attention as songwriters on making sure that the lines that end up there deserve to be there, and also helping us identify when we have lines of lyric randomly in a notebook, which of those lines might actually be fit for a power position. And I'm often asked inside the feedback sessions and workshops that we run inside our membership community if there are other specific tools that we can work through to revise a song, to actually make the draft of a song systematically and methodically better. And there absolutely is. So again, I've created a free downloadable revision checklist, which you can grab right now by clicking the link in the show notes below. And this video has all been about the last line power positions. And if you're interested in understanding first line power positions, along with specific strategies and techniques for writing compelling first lines, check out this video right here. Tulips are braided into her hair in the fading light of the day. She's smiling wide on the outside. If anybody knew, would they care?